This is a story about my Lone Peak 5's. And this is how they should look after about 500 miles. Unfortunately, we're coming to the end.
That said, there's still some life in the old boys just yet. I still have that decent enough protection and cushion underfoot, but I've just taken them out now for 75 minutes with 3 times 10 of increasing speeds, and they're still holding it well. Right, let's get back home and talk about it.
So basically 9 months ago, February 2021, that's when I first picked up the shoe.
Here it is.
And this is how
So another excellent surface
it started.
UK in sheer. Now I've got my hands on the Altra Lone Peak 5. We have
Nice and fresh.
stack height. Obviously it's a 0 drop, so 25 mil from heel to toe, and it has the new Ego midsole compound.
Right.
So looking forward to see how that feels now.
Enough of that. So that was basically 9 months ago in February 2021. But when I first got the shoe, to be honest, I didn't give it enough time. I was still a huge Timp fan. I loved the Timp, but I didn't realize now what I do now. The Timp was definitely of a narrower width. There's a different last in the shoe, and it did cause some issues further down the line. But I did love that Quantic midsole. And I never really got to grips massively with the 4. I loved it, but mainly used it for hiking. So the 5 was more of a, okay, let's just try it out. It was only until sort of the middle of 2021 that I decided, that I discovered my real love for the Lone Peak 5, because I think my foot had got completely so used to the 0 drop feel, and also it kind of craved a bit more minimal feel and a lot more ground contact. And that's exactly what the Lone Peak 5 did for me. I just started to realize that my foot has just been utilized better. I'm just feeling great. The ground feels just much more of a connect. So that's the love for the shoe. That was coming from a background of the Nike React midsole in the Wild Horse. I was also using the Speed Goat, the Hoka Evo Speed Goats, and they have a very bouncy and lots of energy return in their midsoles, which the Lone Peak doesn't. There is some energy return, but it's different. And I guess it took me some time to discover just a different feel. And then once you do get that feel, that more natural feel of running, where you use your foot more, use the tendons in the foot more to sort of bounce back off the ground, as opposed to the energy return in the midsole. Once you're there, for me anyway, it was great. That's when I fell in love with the shoe, especially the upper with a lovely wraparound fit and the soft collar at the back. That's why it was my shoe of 2021, as you saw the video up there. But it took time. It took time for me to get there. And now we are coming up to the end of January, and unfortunately the shoe is kind of on its last legs. As I said, the midsole is okay, but I tell you what, let's take the shoe outside because it's way too dirty and have a closer look. Okay, 500 miles on, a year into them, we are now coming towards the end of the life of the Lone Peak 5's. It's been a real fun ride, but I think it's about time that these guys literally retired. Working from the outsole, we can see now that we do have quite a lot of wear and tear. The treads on the outsole here are starting to really, really wear down. So, and to be honest, they weren't great in the wet anyway, but right now we're getting more like a pair of slippers out there. Midsole, obviously you can't see how much it's sort of changed. It's still holding up in the midsole. It's not too bad. It's still pretty comfortable, and actually, surprisingly enough, the insole as well, it still has some give in there as well, which is pretty nice. But unfortunately, the outer, the upper here, we have some wear and tear, quite a few nasty rips on both sides, where we have now it's becoming a little bit too sloppy, and it's just not, it's just about had its life. But it's been a good life. We've had some fun.
So after saying quite a sad goodbye to the 5's and eagerly waiting for the arrival of the 6's, I have slipped back into the 4's. So here we have the Altra Lone Peak 4. Never really did that many miles in these. They're still in pretty good nick. Got to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan when I first got them, but as you can see, they're still in pretty good condition. So the reason why these are probably in pretty good condition is because, as I said, I didn't really do that many miles in them, because I hadn't really got to grips with the Lone Peak 5 until halfway through 2021. That's when I really fell in love with the shoe and realized what an incredible shoe it is for my feet anyway. Just as a perfect balance of cushion, protection. Interestingly, they do actually fit lengthwise a little bit better. The 5 does come up a little bit longer than the 4s, and also it's good to see that the 5's midsole is definitely far superior than the 4. The Ego midsole in the 5 is just still incredible. There's still some cushion in the 4, but it just seems to be a bit flattened out, and it's not like the 5's. The 5's are tippity-boo, tip-top. Right, go on dogs.
So as it turns out, sports shoe, I'm not going to be getting the Altra Lone Peak 6 until middle of February. So if you live in England, your best bet is going to go for Northern Runner, and I've got to get my order in today before I put this out, otherwise it's going to be all might be taken. northernrunner.com, pre-purchase, whatever you call it, delivery, ETA 3rd, 4th of Feb, and I'm going to go for the wide black.